What's up, guys? Paul Salmon here. I'd like to talk to you guys about something that is probably the stupidest thing that we do in aviation. And unfortunately, this results in the disability and death of numerous individuals. And we're going to talk about that coming up.
Looking good. Just kind of hold that attitude. Now start your flare. Hold it right there. Now double the aircraft up on the clip. There you go. You didn't even slow it. All right.
So what is the stupidest thing that we do in aviation? And I think, without any debate, the stupidest thing we do in aviation is require students to solo the aircraft. Not only do we require them to solo the aircraft, we require them to solo the aircraft very early on in their training. It makes absolutely no sense. When you're learning how to drive a car, you don't go to take driver's ed and they ride around the block with you 3 or 4 times and then get out and go, well, you got to do a cross country, so you're going to have to drive from Cape here to St. Louis, and if you survive it and make it back, we'll probably give you a license. So no, we don't do anything like that, and it makes absolutely no sense. So we're going to review a few accidents here that involve students on their initial solo or their second or third solo. And these were absolutely unnecessary accidents that didn't have to happen. And so we really need to consider changing how we do the solo requirement. I personally don't think there ought to be any solo requirement. How we do the solo requirement for students. And this doesn't matter whether you're training to get a license for a helicopter or an airplane or a gyroplane. It's still a ridiculous idea. And again, it results in the death of numerous individuals per year. Okay, so let's say that you don't really care if the guy kills himself or not, okay? You're not a humanitarian, well, whatever, right? Well, let's look at it, some cold, hard facts about the money involved. Let's look at dollars, all right? If these accidents didn't occur, all of the claims made on there would total a huge amount of money. And these accidents have an effect on your insurance rates. When you buy an aircraft and insure it, you can damn sure bet that all of these accidents that are unnecessary do nothing more than raise the heck out of your rates. For us, we have 3 helicopters. I'm paying over $70,000, I think it's $74,000 a year, to insure 3 helicopters, right? And guess what? If we send a student out and they have an accident and they crash and get killed on their solo, and you have a 10% deductible, rotors in motion. So they crash my $500,000 helicopter, guess what? I'm not covered for for $450. So the crash cost me $50,000 out of my pocket. Oh yeah, and the guy got killed too. I mean, the whole idea, if look at it from that point of view, look at it from the money, all right? And in fact, probably where the change to this may come is if insurance companies get involved, down with the insurance companies and say, if this guy didn't crash the aircraft, you guys wouldn't have to pay a claim. You get to keep that money, all right? So maybe some lobbyists for the insurance company could affect this change that we're going to speak of here. And I'm going to get specific in what I think the change should be here, coming up here in just a bit. So there was an accident in 2018 here in Missouri, near Fulton, Missouri, where a student actually got carb ice. That was the first part of the accident. The second part was he didn't lower the collective and got a rotor stall, and that unfortunately was a fatal accident. Another accident in Washington State, again with an R-22 that got carb ice. Once again, the student did not lower the collective, got a rotor stall, and once again, that was a fatal outcome. There was an accident in a 269 in Australia where a student lost the engine, bypassed actually a couple acceptable areas to land in open fields, and unfortunately crashed into a house. He was seriously injured. I don't believe he was killed, but he was seriously injured. Another one in Georgia in an R-44, first solo in a helicopter, student crashed, was seriously injured. And this occurs in airplanes too. In England, there was one with unfortunately, a 16-year-old boy who had a total of 15 hours of flight instruction, was on his first or second solo, third solo, and was instructed by the controller to go around. He was on approach, was instructed to go around and clearly evident that he did not reconfigure the aircraft correctly, sustained a stall-spin combination, and also sustained fatal injuries. So this is not an uncommon event. It doesn't take much research to find accident reports of students who were on their first 1, 2, 3, 4th solo, whatever, that experienced accidents, and many times those accidents are fatal. And the thing about it was, if they would have had an instructor sitting next to them, likely, I mean, the odds are never zero, but likely the accident could have been avoided. Okay, so the specific change that I think that ought to be enacted is that the requirements for a private pilot's license ought to mirror the requirements for a commercial, as far as having to do with the solo/PIC requirement. Let's say that you're a commercial airplane pilot and you're now pursuing a commercial helicopter rating. Let me read the requirement for you. The solo, quote, solo requirement. Okay, 10 hours of solo flight time in a helicopter, or 10 hours of flight time performing the duties of pilot in command in a helicopter with an authorized instructor on board. All right? We should change the private pilot to match the same thing. You should be allowed to function, do your 10 hours of PIC time with an authorized instructor on board, where the authorized instructor is there to observe, to make sure that you're doing everything correctly, and to keep you from killing yourself if you make a stupid mistake. All right? That one simple change could save an untold number of lives and dollars, and we should make that change. So I think I've clearly stated my opinion on what my thoughts are on the idea of student solo. So I'd like to hear what you guys have to say about it as well. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next video.